is. This one caught my eye. I told you this, Jason. Something that you had posted, passing on some information that, let me get these numbers straight. I believe Georgia spending $4.5 million per season on recruiting. Clemson's at 2.3 and Florida State at 1.3. So Clemson fans aren't going to be too happy about that.
Well, I mean, that was the latest numbers that I could find. Georgia's was in that number came from 2022. I think Clemson's came from the fiscal 2021 fiscal year. So they're a year apart. I would assume Clemson probably spent a similar amount in the year after that. Probably not nearly as much in the COVID year, but I think Clemson's budgets remained pretty even for the last few years. But yeah, Georgia's definitely spending some of that SEC money, and when we see these new television contracts start coming into play, when the SEC and the Big Ten renew their television deals, and the financial gap between the ACC and the SEC and the ACC and the Big Ten starts to substantially grow even more, we might see that gap widens even more. When I looked up those numbers, Clemson was still like in one of the top schools spending when it came to their recruiting budget. So, I mean, it's not like they're way down the list. It's just Georgia is just spending that much more than everybody else. I think Texas A&M was the next closest at 2.98.
Shocker.
But, and people think this gap isn't going to matter, or you got some people that think this gap isn't going to make that much of a difference. But when you have that much more money, that's more money you can invest in your support staff. And when you can bring in more support staff, that's more eyes you've got to evaluate, to study film, do whatever needs to be done. And I mean, you can't kind of you can't put a price tag on that. Georgia's wielding a big enough stick as it is on the recruiting trail. And now we see Kirby Smart landing in the middle of the football field via helicopter here in Aiken. I think it was Aiken, South Carolina at the end of February. Go see a kid. I mean, they are definitely invested in that program, no doubt.